Alright, so today what I'm going to do is go through all of our firewood. Not through all of it, but I'm just going to be looking for a good piece to try to make a cup out of, or a bowl. So we will just be looking, because most of this firewood, it's either split or really punky. You can tell it's punky like this piece is because of all this stuff. Let's see if I can find a piece that looks... See, like that, that's all punky. But the stuff that's good to use would be like a piece like that. Doesn't matter if it has a few cracks in it, you can cut that off, which I will be using those pieces later once we get through most of this. So I was just looking through here. We have quite a few different kinds of wood. Like right there's apricot, and we got all types of stuff in here. So I was looking through over here, there's apple wood, and I ran across this piece. It's got a hole down through there, but I think that if I just use this side, it should work fine. Just has a few cracks in it, and those knots won't matter, it'll just make it look cooler if I use that section or something. But anyway, let's take this in, and I'll show you guys how to make a cup out of this. Alright, so this is my most recent project. This is just a cup that I made out of apple wood. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to make one sort of like this. I'll just have to see what kind of a cup I want to make when I get into it and stuff. But I might make one that's about like this. But I just made that out of a piece of wood like this. This was straight. So this is pretty much how it was. I just measured in, cut off the piece that I wanted, put it on the lathe, and then just turn this out of it. So anyway, so just gonna throw this off to the side. Got a bunch of more projects over here, lathe work, but we're gonna be taking this hunk this time. And I'm gonna have to see, because this side it would probably make a nice looking bowl right there, so I might save that for a bowl. So this one I might chop off it down to the knots, save that piece for a small cup or a bowl or something, then cut off the knots and use that for a cup and see how that works. Knots are a little more tougher to make stuff with because they're so hard, but it makes a really cool looking thing because you have that extra grain in there. So what I will be doing first is actually I will be looking at these cracks, looking for the biggest cracks, and I will be taking one of these chisel, just grinding away until the end of the crack shows up, and there I will just saw it off. That way my piece does not fly apart, my cup or something does not fly apart when I'm making it, and it does not have a crack in it, because that's what I did with this one. It has no cracks in it, but the end piece, this one right here, as you can see, it's all cracked, and I ground that away like that. There's one there, and there's a really long one. As you can see, it ends there, that crack does. So there's where I just cut it off. There's no cracks anymore. So we'll be starting out with, we'll just be following the cracks back. This one does not have as many cracks, so we'll just be following them back with the chisel, going as far in as the crack goes. Then we'll just cut it off right there. That way it doesn't fly apart. And anyway, let's get started. Alright, so I got those all worked back. As you can see, way down in there where the crack ends. This one over here is the same way. way down in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it off about here, throw this hunk away, cut that off, measure out how much I want, leave enough on the end here probably for a bowl if there isn't too many cracks or if it isn't too hollow. Then I will just cut it off the length that I want for the cup, get it all set up, and we'll get to carving. Alright, so I got this sawed off how I want it, and I realized there's a hole here, and with this piece, let's see, I can get some light from the other side, maybe you might be able to see it this way. See right there, it goes all the way through. So, anyway, this, it only goes down about that far, somewhere in there. So I'm going to use this for the inside of the cup. That way I grind that all out. This outside edge stuff is still good, but this has some punky stuff. As you can see, it's light colored, so that means it's punky. So I'm gonna get all that out. But first, we gotta find the center, which this might be the center. Switch these out for this. It's just a screw. Screw that onto there, hook it onto here, and then attach that up, and we will get to grinding. Alright, so I got the hole drilled in this, got this piece put on. Actually, I don't have it tightened yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that. Well, there's the hole. So now, what we're going to do, make sure that you unlock this. It spins. We're going to turn it on because the last project is going to be at a high speed. You want to lower it down to one of these notches down in here, the low setting. So, we're going to do that. Okay, so here's the setting we're gonna have it on for right now, just to start and see how that works. It's not off. I'll put this on, get everything set up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so I got this all put on here. Sorry, cut it crooked. It's kind of hard with the handsaw, but anyway, cut it as straight as you can. But got this set up. There's that big old knot on top that I'm going to try to grind off first. Maybe some of that one too. So I set this so that this just misses it. Just like that. Won't hit it. So anyway, I'm going to first be using this. It is a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. sure that all your tools are nice and sharpened before you start. You may want to wear some glasses for this, and ear protection. Just depends on how much everything is flying. And then what I like to do is take a towel and cover this pocket, because it sort of gets full of wood chips if I don't. So anyway, and it works good for taking the sandpaper and wiping it on. I'll tell you that when we get to that point. But anyway, we will start with grinding this knot off, and we will just keep working our way in. And once we get it all nice and smoothed out towards just one round block, that is when we will start to actually make the shape of it and how we want it, making the foot and everything. And so anyway, let's get started. So I was just going to show you guys something that I learned. So when you're looking at this, see how uneven shaped it is. I've kind of got these knots worked down a bit, but it's so unevenly shaped and stuff. But when you turn it on, you can actually see what you have to work down to. So everything else will sort of be invisible. I'll turn it on in a minute and show you guys, but like all these knots, you'll be able to see them, but it'll pretty much be invisible, and you'll be able to see the core of what you will be working down to. So I can turn it on and show you guys what I'm talking about. As you can see the core, especially on the ends there. You can just see what you need to work down to get it all nice and even all the way across. So once you get that all worked down, it'll be real easy from there. So I think from here I'll pick up the speed a bit and get that really rolling. Start carving this off more. You do not want to get it up to speed at the beginning, because if you do, what'll happen is it'll start shaking your entire lathe really bad. It'll be really hard to hold your tool on there because it's so odd shaped. Just start wobbling all over the place. But if you keep it at a low speed, it'll shake some, but once you get it all ground down, then you can speed it up and it will not shake as much. So let's speed it up and we'll keep grinding. Alright, so I got this all carved down. There is this mark in it, which I will have to try to grind that out when I am making the sections of it. But this is going to be the base of our cup. Here's one of the knots. It's all nice and straightened down. That was the other one. And there was a crack right through this knot, but I got that ground down. Got all the bark off. So anyway, it looks real nice. So now I'm just going to be taking a ruler, just a wooden ruler, measuring this out from the shortest to the shortest and stuff. And then, like, see, it's angled, so I'll go from here and I'll measure that way and then make a mark there where I want the cut part to be, and then the handle, the base of it, spot for it to sit on, sort of like I did that other cup. So anyway, I'm gonna draw out these lines and then we'll start shaping. Alright, so I got it all marked out. This will be the top part of it, the whatever you call that, and then here's the base. So this, we can make whatever design we want. This we will make a rounded top, which I might just do a rounded top and then just do this smooth out to here, coming out to the base, which is here. And you can make this whatever size you want, but this is about the size of a regular cup. So anyway, you want to make your lines big, that way you can see them when you turn on the engine. So anyway, let's get to shaping. Alright, so I got the shape of it. Made some designs in here. Sort of, with this spot, sort of angled it down towards here. Got a nice curve on here. It did sort of chip on here because of this thing. Let's see if I can get it to clear up here. As you can see, it's sort of chipped. And then I'll sand it off the best I can. And then I got my foot on here. This is going to be the foot. That'll just take off. So anyway, now we're just going to sand this whole thing down. And I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so we got this all shaved down. And got some markings in here and stuff. I rounded this off, and with this spot I had it so that like this is angled sort of upwards towards this base, and this is bigger going down smaller. You can leave it all the same and make that flat if you want to, but I think that with this, because it did chip, as you can see right there, and there it chipped. So I think that I am just going to take off, sorry for the blurriness, let's see if I can clear it up again. So anyway, I'm going to take off this one, the chipped one, that one, and that one, then we'll just be left with the other ones. I'm just going to take those off smooth, all the way to the base, and then here's my foot that I have. With doing the foot, this part I'm just going to take off. With doing the foot, you don't want it the same size as the base, because otherwise it can be off-centered. So make it so you have something to slide up to and not too thick. So anyway, I can grind those things off and then we'll get to sanding. So I got that done. Now I'm just gonna start sanding it. So I'm gonna use, let's see, I'm just gonna start with some thicker sandpaper. So I have to go through my stash and then just keep going down until I am finally down to 320 grit sandpaper. So I'll just be starting with some thicker stuff. I don't know, maybe 60 grit or something like that. And then I'll just keep working my way down until it's all nice and shiny and smooth. So anyway, let's get to sanding. Alright, so I got this all sanded down now. Got it all nice, it's shiny, nice and smooth. Got some cool looking markings in there. So anyway, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off of here, flip it around. I'm gonna try to have to figure out a way to zip this off on something, and then I'll just butt it up to against here, and then we'll start covering out the inside. Alright, so I got that base thing cut off. Now, got this thing put on. Let's see, I'm gonna have to make this wider. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lock this up. As you can see, when I spin this, it widens those jaws. Ooh-wee. Gonna be a tight fit. Should have ground that down a little more. So anyway, I can get it all secured in there like that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so got this all hooked up here. It's nice and tight. So now I got this positioned. Now I'm just gonna grind it back to this mark here, and then I'm gonna attach the drill end to this. This usually pulls out. Anyway, might need a wrench for that or something. But wait, there we go. So there, and we'll be using this. It has a drill bit on it. And I'll be hooking that up like that, drilling into the center of here, going as deep as I need to. That way I know how deep to go and when to stop. That way I don't go through the bottom or something. So anyway, I'm going to do that, and then we'll get to carving this out. Alright, so I got this whole thing set up. This thing does not spin. You use this to make it go forward and into wherever it is that you're drilling a hole in. Got this off flush. I'm just gonna go to about in here on the bit. That should cover to about back in here. So anyway, let's get started. So that should be as deep as I need to go. So now we'll just start grinding out the inside. Alright, so got the inside all done. Now I'm just going to take some sandpaper and do exactly what I did on the outside and get this all nice and smoothed out flat. Sort of rounded this off. So anyway, let's get to sanding. Alright, so here it is, all done. Got the inside all sanded down and got that all ground off flat. Looks real nice. Now last step is to oil this. I'm just going to be using olive oil, just kitchen oil. So anyway, let's go and get this thing oiled up. Alright, so I got this all oiled up. As you can see, it's all nice and shiny. The oil really darkens it, so that's what makes it, gives it its real color and stuff. So anyway, that is the last step for doing this. Hope yours turned out. Anyway, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one.